Hi, I am Tam, and Tam I am. I am the creator and publisher of the Energy Almanac. And today I want to talk to you about quarter two. That's April, May, and June of 2022. Now, before I get into what's coming up for April, May, and June, I'd like to remind you about the theme, the overarching theme of 2022. First off, let's remind you to get out your Energy Almanac. You can tell that this is mine. I've taped it and I've got tabs in it so I can refer to it easily. I hope that when you have your own Energy Almanac that you're really using it well and loving it like I love mine. So, first, we want to talk about 2022 and what that means. When you look at the numbers that make up 2022, you'll see that there are 3 twos inside of it. So the twos have their own special vibration. Using numerology, which is the art and study of numbers and their frequency and their energetic output, we know that twos represent the coming together of two things. It's duality. It's a peaceful duality, coexistence, right? Coming together. It's peace. And there's 3 of them. So doesn't that indicate that we are working in a year that we're bringing together peace? Now, what's interesting is the number 22. 2 twos side by side. Let's do it like this. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 is a foundational number. The number 22 in and of itself is the, air quotes, master builder. So now we are building a foundation of peace. The cover of the Energy Almanac is a teacup with a tea bag with a peace symbol and a heart. And the name of this piece of art is Make Tea, Not War. This is the actual theme for 2022. It's about bringing your best self to every single situation and truly being peaceful in your interactions. It's about responding and not reacting. So the theme of peace is going to be with us for the rest of this year. So let's put that as a highlight. If you're taking notes during this video, let's make a high level note, peace, at the top of your paper, okay? Next thing that I want to talk about is the Pluto return. In 2022, we are dealing with Pluto's return to the place it was at the birth of the United States of America. So it's America's Pluto return. Pluto is a very slow-moving planet, takes about 248 years to make its revolution. And when a planet lands back at the place that it was at the time of birth, it's very triggering and it sets off reminders, so to speak. So Pluto returning to its place at 29 degrees of Capricorn tells us exactly what we can expect. So we know that Pluto is that Tasmanian devil coming in to level the playing field so something new can be built. So Pluto is about transformation. And what exactly is it transforming? Now we're looking at Capricorn, and Capricorn is that serious, more silent area of life that concerns business. Capricorn in the greater scheme, in the big global landscape, is addressing big business. So now we're talking about government, healthcare, education, religion, nonprofit organizations, all being transformed. Pluto's coming in and wiping the place clean and then going to build up something new in its place. And if you just look around at the geopolitical landscape, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we have a whole entire article about that inside the Energy Almanac. Make sure that you have your almanac so that, and review that every quarter. Go back and review what is it that's happening in the bigger landscape. You want to have an opportunity to know and be ahead of the curve, if you will. Okay, let's dive into April. Look, I have my notes and I'm going to talk to you about April, May, and June. We're going to start with April, where the three keywords for April are revolution, exploration, and faith. I have the oil of the month. The essential oil for April is actually cedar wood for strength, right? We're going to need some strength, aren't we? And the gemstone for this month is agate. So make sure that you order your cedarwood oil and have it with you to use, especially around these key dates. Now, considering the timing of this video coming out, the first date that I want you to pay attention to is actually the new moon in Libra on April 16th. Go ahead and mark your calendar or use your smartphone to look at that new moon. There's an article in the almanac, but you also could understand ahead of time that Libra is really about love, relationship, beauty, and money. So balance. Libra is those scales of balance. So you want to be initiating, wishing for, dreaming about what does balance look like for you. There's that new moon. Now, on April 18th, just 2 days later, we have some discussion coming up around transformation. The sun is going to square Pluto. So the sun represents who we are as a person. On the global landscape, or in mundane astrology, this is going to be leaders. So leaders in your life. It can be mom and dad. It can be a boss. It can be a president or a prime minister. There'll be tension because there's a square about transformation. The sun is the person, the square is the tension, Pluto is the transformation. Now, that happens on the 18th, but a little bit later, 10 days later, I want you to mark your calendars for April 28th because Mercury is coming in trine Pluto. Now, remember, Pluto's in Capricorn. We talked about it. It's Pluto's return in Capricorn. So Mercury is going to come in, and a trine is a friendly aspect. And so Mercury is going to want to communicate about the changes that are going on and also kind of ground in some information. And it's like a good time. April 28th is a good time period to be planning for changes, particularly around business, your personal business, whatever that might be, or looking at the bigger world, maybe education, healthcare, government, big box stores. All those things are relevant to Capricorn. All right, now, very interesting, April 29th, Pluto is going to retrograde in the signs of Capricorn. And here's the beginning of a long period for this quarter where you're going to want to actually spend time, mark time in your calendar to review the transformation that's been taking place in business. I would take the time to literally pick maybe just one day a month, maybe a couple of times, April, May, and June, to ask yourself big questions. How has my business changed? How have I changed inside of my business? What can I do differently? What do I like? What do I dislike? What can I do better concerning the transforming business landscape? Okay? Last but not least, April 30th is the new moon solar eclipse in the very important sign of Taurus. So Taurus is our money. Taurus is our resources and it's our value system. Taurus also represents a grounding in and a stability. Taurus can also be about being very fixed in nature. It's an earth sign, by the way. So this new moon on April 30th, you're going to want to really spend some time under this eclipse. A certain area of your life is going to change. I highly recommend you find your birth chart, your astrology chart, and discover where Taurus is for you. Which area of life of the 12 different houses, where is Taurus sitting for you? That's which area of your life is going to be affected in a Taurian kind of manner. All right, that covers April. Don't forget to go ahead and pause the video if you need to get caught up. I'm about to launch into May, the second month of quarter two. All right, keywords are revisit, initiation, and balance. All right, the essential oil is petitgrain, and the stone is carnelian. Petitgrain, citrusy, right? So that's going to be uplifting for us. You can read the article about petitgrain oil in your Energy Almanac. Don't forget. Make sure you do that at the beginning of every month. Reference your book and get the details about what's going on for these oils and resources. Now we have, let's see, we have a fair few number of dates here in May. So starting with May 2nd, Venus is going to go into the sign of Aries. Venus will move into the sign of Aries, and this is going to bring an up-leveled sense of passion. There'll be an increase in energy for yourself and for everybody. So it's wonderful, and it's really a nice feeling when passion is high like this. Make sure that you're minding your manners, minding your mouth. Aries can be very instinctual and impetuous by nature. And with Venus there's going to be that desire to go, go, go. Be careful, temper yourself, and let the passion sort of simmer and use it wisely. May 10th, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Gemini. Now, Mercury will retrograde in Gemini for I think 2.5 weeks before it moves into a retrograde in the sign of Taurus. So starting with Gemini, here you want to take the opportunity. Mercury is our thinking mind. You want to be analyzing and reviewing the Gemini topics. So now we're looking at areas of study. What do I want to learn and understand next? What two ideas? Gemini is that dichotomy or differing ideas or decision making. What needs to be looked at and decided upon for myself during this time period? Really looking at these kinds of ideas. May 11th. Here we have Jupiter. This is a big change. This is a very global change that's going to affect society in a really big way. This is Jupiter moving into the sign of Aries. Now, we just talked about Aries. Aries is a very dynamic sign. It's dynamic, it's charming, it is impetuous, it is action-taking, it is high movement. Jupiter is coming in to expand that and make it even bigger. So this is a very high energy time. There's going to be an uptick in confidence. Aries people are always working through their stress. They're always figuring out ways to show bravery and courage. So you're going to see a lot of that in the next few months when Jupiter moves into the sign of Aries. It's a very, very exciting time. On May 16th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. And here we have the opportunity to really look at the Sagittarian ideas of truth-telling, belief systems, and faith. Higher mind. Sagittarian is very higher mind. And this eclipse is asking us to clear out old beliefs. Clear out old ideas of what is the truth for you. Now, eclipses come in pairs, and they're 6 weeks apart, roughly. And so this is going to close the eclipse window that opened earlier in April. This eclipse is important that you are looking at letting go and releasing problems in the area of beliefs, okay? And truth-telling, really important. Those Sages, they love the truth-telling. All right, May 24th, we have Mars moving into Aries. It's going to be a very dynamic time period in May. There's a lot of that Aries energy. So Mars is the ruler of Aries, which means it's at home. It's like, happy to be here. So Mars is at home in Aries, and it's going to be a big action time. Mars is the planet of war and action. So aggression and passion, warring or simply taking action, right? Let's use our Mars energy very wisely, okay? Mars will be in the sign of Aries for several weeks through the rest of May and into most of June. Okay, courage is going to be really big in May. If you've been waiting to do something, I would say do it in May. If you've been like trying to build up the nerve, do it in May, okay? All right, on May 25th, I talked about Mercury retrograde moving into the sign of Taurus. Gemini season's over. Now we are going to review, relook at, reanalyze Taurus. That's money. You want to look at your resources and your value systems. So now you can review your budget. You could actively do a net worth statement. List your assets, list your liabilities, and find out how much am I worth. That's a really good practice to do during a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And as a transformational coach, your work would be to look at your value system. What do I really value? What matters to me the most? Now, putting aside family and love, everybody says that. Every client I coach, oh, it's all about my family, it's all about love. Lovely. But what else matters to you? In my life, creativity. In my life, freedom. Those matter to me, and I fight for them. I actually fight for them. What will you fight for? What energies do you want to be present? That's a very Mercury retrograde and Taurus thing to consider. So good luck doing that big work. May 30th, the last of May, we have a new moon at 9 degrees Gemini. So new moon is initiating, and Gemini, we can look at things we do with our hands because Gemini rules the hands. So you could take on a new task like sewing and embroidery, painting, woodworking, hands things, cooking. What do you want to do with your hands? What do you want to learn about, report on, study? Those are very Gemini topics. And you can do that during May. All right, we've got one more month to cover in our quarterly look ahead. And now we're looking at the month of June. So your 3 words for June: introspection, that's those retrogrades, sharing, and timing. The essential oil for the month of June is sandalwood, and that one is so sensual and it's so soothing to my soul. I urge you to look in the Energy Almanac and discover what sandalwood can do for you. Go get yours. And also honey calcite is the gemstone for the month of June. All right, so we just have 6 things I want to point out to you for June. Starting on June 3rd, this is a big one for everybody because it's that Mercury retrograde being over. Everybody looks forward to Mercury stationing direct, and this time in the sign of Taurus. So this means that actually money and the economy, as well as your value systems, all that is going to become a lot more clearer, and you're going to be able to progress things in those areas. Now, June 4th, right behind that, is Saturn stationing retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So what is Saturn in Aquarius? Saturn is all about lessons. Saturn is the giver of lessons. So this means, is my timing right? Have I been disciplined? Saturn actually rules agriculture, by the way. Saturn is about limitations and boundaries and lessons. So currently Saturn is ruling Aquarius, which is about groups of people, freedom. Aquarius is about innovation and even intuition. I love to say that Aquarius is the rebel with a cause. If it's good for me, it's good for we. That's very Aquarius. Now, Saturn has been in Aquarius for all of 2022 and most of 2021. Now, Saturn puts us in a box, right? It even does this. Saturn locks us down. Aquarius is groups of people. So think about it again. Saturn locking down groups of people. Now, retrograde, we finally get the opportunity to say, did that serve us? How did that affect my freedom? Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is the opportunity to say, was that a good lesson? A bad lesson? How could I have done that differently? Okay? Use that time wisely. Go ahead and plug in at least 1 hour of contemplation on that topic for the month of June, the month of July, and the month of August. What this is going to do is steel you for any time this happens again. You're going to have the opportunity to know, what is my proper reaction if I am being disciplined or if I am being taught a lesson, right? What if my innovation gets stifled by me being put in a box? These are questions that you should be looking at answering. Okay, next up is June 13th, when Mercury moves into the sign of Gemini. And this is no different than when I was talking about in May, except the energy is direct. With Mercury in Gemini for the next few weeks, right into July, you're going to find yourself more chatty than normal. There'll be an uptick in communication. Gemini is very witty and fast thinking. With Mercury in its home sign, remember Mars was in its home sign of Aries, Gemini is in its comfort sign in Gemini, and now communication is going to be fast and furious. So just be prepared for that. June 14th, we have a full moon in, let me look at this, Sagittarius. This, I said full moon. Yep, full moon in Sagittarius. So this full moon in Sag is another opportunity, much like the eclipse we had earlier, to really look at what is and isn't serving me around what I believe. What have I believed? Is it working for me? What belief could I let go of that would benefit me? Sag is all about fun and adventure. They're very gregarious people. And where have you been held back by a belief system? Where are your beliefs not serving you any longer? That's the kind of work you want to do under that moon. And of course, read the article inside of the Energy Almanac. Last but not least, I want to direct you to June 28th, where there is a new moon at 7 degrees Cancer. So go get your tissues, because the Cancer moons are always very emotional. Cancer is all about nurturing, mothering, and feeling. There's a lot of compassion and love that happens under a Cancer moon, whether it's a new moon, full moon, or just a regular cycle moon. But this one, this new moon at 7 degrees Cancer asks us actually to particularly focus on intuition, because the number 7 degrees, is the channel, inward channel of intuition and spirituality. So you're really going to want to connect deeply around your feelings, around your intuition, and see what you can learn for yourself. Wow, I just went through 3 months of information. That is your Q2 info for the Energy Almanac, Energy Almanac information. So astrology insights and holistic resources for the year ahead. Now, don't forget to get your essential oils on the first or second day of the month. And you also want to get your stones. There's some really amazing movement going on in here, and some wellness information for you as well. I am always available to answer your questions. My online group is a mighty network. If you go to energy-almanac.mn.co, you can go to my free group, and I talk about astrology in there all week, every week, and you're welcome to come in and ask questions, and I make special offerings and sometimes special discounts. So I look forward to guiding you further. Please reach out at any time. The website for all of this stuff is theenergyalmanac.com, but get your essential oils. Oh, that's the American address. If you're watching this in the UK, make sure you go to essentialoilsupplies.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you have an amazing second quarter of 2022. I am Tam, and Tam I am, and I look forward to talking again soon.